How many online fitness clients do you need before you can safely quit your job and go online full time? We've built a tool to help you to figure out exactly that thing, because when we built Propane Fitness, it was scary to quit our jobs. But using the model that we teach, it can make it a bit more of a softer landing, a smoother transition, and a low risk move to go full time online coach and to become financially independent. We very much believe in building a slow burn of revenue rather than the kind of classic motivational speaker thing of you've got to burn your bridges and quit your job and it forces you to take massive action, because all that's going to do is make you anxious to get the sale on the front end and not build a long-term sustainable business. So here is the freedom calculator, which we've built. We're going to walk you through how to do this, and we'll give you it for free because we're good guys, to figure out how many clients you need to go online full time.
So this is all kind of based on the idea that most people feel better when they have some numbers and some certainty and some data around what am I trying to do? How long will that take? How many clients do I need? How much do I need to charge? How many leads do I need? Rather than just, oh, online coaching would be nice. And so when we were trying to leave our jobs, we were looking for some certainty. We were looking for, how do we turn this into a plan with targets and monthly benchmarks and all that sort of stuff. So where we start with this, and this, by the way, is the original version of the calculator. We've turned it into a web page where you can just get the numbers sent to you. So that'll be far easier for you to use. But I'll walk you through this and sort of show you how it works. So the first thing that you want to focus on, kind of this area of the sheet over here, is where are things at now? So what are your current expenses? What does an online coaching offer need to cover? Maybe even look at it as simply as like, what do you currently earn and match that? So you might be able to just begin with that number, but we generally like to just look at your expenses. So I would download 6 months of online banking, try to average that out and look at, what are these numbers roughly speaking on an average per month. Obviously they're going to fluctuate a little bit. Some things will be fixed, some things will change. And this is where you realize like, oh my God, I'm spending a lot more than I thought on Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these sort of subscriptions that I've got. If you've never done this exercise before, it can be a bit painful. So we'll just shove in some, Yusuf, give me some sample numbers.
Okay, so rent, let's put £500 a month.
Okay.
Assuming people don't live in the rip-off capital of the UK, London.
Central London. Let's say you have a car and it costs you £250 a month. Let's say £100
home
a month
insurance,
on petrol.
about £200 a year, so £20 a month.
Okay, £20 a month.
Utility, touchy subject.
I know. Well, at least now when we're recording this, if you're Yusuf and you pay monthly for a phone, it's probably like 0.75, like 75p, because you always get these insane deals. Let's say it's £25 a month on your phone. Let's say you get some good internet. It's £30 a month. Food, what do you think?
£300.
Okay.
Depends if you're bulking or cutting, doesn't it?
It does, exactly. Yeah. And what your protein intake is. Depends whether you listen to Menno Henselmans or whether you go higher on the protein intake. Let's say your gym your gym membership costs you £40 a month. And let's say you spend all in all £50 a month on subscription stuff. Eating out, 100 quid, maybe a bit more. Alcohol, 100 quid. No reserve for saving, no reserve for annual tax bill, because you're a hooligan and you don't prepare for things like that. You just like to live in the
maverick.
moment. Yeah. So that's 1,500 total. And then we recommend adding in a buffer. So you don't want to get this to the point where like, okay, I've got this number of clients, I'm just covering my cost, I'm going to quit my job and YOLO. Add a buffer in so that, there's a little bit of comfort. So you might want to make that 20%. That's kind of your risk tolerance, right? How much risk are you willing to take? So this gives you a total buffered monthly expense figure of 1,800, or an annual expense figure of about 22 grand. All right. So there's other things to consider here with like tax and fees and the costs of running your business. This is not designed to be something that you kind of like financially rely on and make fun. This is not financial advice. It's an exercise to give you an estimation of like, roughly speaking, how long is this going to take me? So now that we know that number, we come up here to the analysis of, okay, well, what does that look like in my coaching business? So we start off with, well, what are you going to charge per month for online coaching? Now we recommend £100 a month as an average, and you would prorate that. So if you want to have an 8-week program, that's 8 weeks instead of 4, roughly speaking. So as in versus a monthly rate. So that would be £200. A 6-week program would be 150. A 12-week program would be 300, etc., etc. And then people complete that and roll into a monthly recurring service with you, which is £100 a month. If you don't know why we charge that, we've got a ton of other content on price and why that happens, either on our podcast or why we recommend that, either on our podcast or on YouTube. Or we have a video that explains all of this in a lot more detail, so you can find a link to that as well. But £100 a month. So to reach your full-time target, that is 18 clients. Now, that might be a level of clarity that you didn't have before. And hopefully you hear that and think, like easier than I expected it to be, especially when you consider that there's billions of people on the internet, right? You just need 18 of them. You don't need to be the next best-selling author, influencer. You need 18 people from the internet to think that you might be the right idea to work with, right? Hopefully that feels achievable.
The systems that we teach, it's a predictable process to get there. It's not, you're not going to get them all at once, but you won't be flying by the seat of your pants like some of the sort of high-ticket coaches will teach, where your monthly income is very much boom or bust. This is a process that is ad-based, and you will be able to gradually approach that number.
Yeah, and I think the key thing as well is remembering that clients leave, right? Like, it doesn't matter how good of a coach you are, people will leave. And if you're relying on an organic strategy that has a very short time horizon that maybe works the first time you post it and then stops working month 2, month 3, month 4, the people that sign up initially from the promo that you do, they'll leave. So you need a way of replacing them. And all of this is based around that. It's a model with throughput. You have leads, conversions into sales. Those people stick around for as long as possible, and the model repeats. So it's all about predictability and stability, really, with this stuff. If you want to quit or stop doing whatever you're doing and coach online full time, I can tell you from experience that if you can't kind of forecast and predict what your income's going to be, very, very stressful way of running things.
It's nauseating. Like,
horrendous. Yeah.
Because there is no, it's not like you've got this kind of income insurance. It's the biggest difference between working a full-time job, where you know that paycheck is coming in every month, regardless of how well the company is doing, unless it's gone absolutely bust.
Yeah.
Going from that, this is why you need a buffer, because you can't just be running on very thin margin.
I think mainly because it affects your headspace. So if you think, right, okay, I got 5 clients through my sales call, high ticket one-to-one coaching approach in month 1, and I'm relying on that working again in month 2, otherwise my income is 0, and I'm not sure that I can cover my costs if I don't get any clients. It's very hard to sort of stay focused on long-term projects. It's very hard to just run the day-to-day of things without panicking. And it shows in like your content, it shows in your material, it shows in your sales calls or whatever it is that you're doing. So I think having stability, predictability is key, and that's what all this is based around. So if you currently have clients online, you put that number in here. So let's say a lot of people we work with kind of have a handful of clients online. Maybe they started working with them in 2020 for obvious reasons, or maybe there's people that picked up through social media. Generally, people are in this kind of like greater than 0, less than 10 band, but they can't scale it, right? Which is obviously, again, what this system is all based around. Let's say you have 5 online clients, and then this figure here, you're targeting your clients per month. This is kind of it's very hard to answer this question for you, because it's a measure of like, how aggressive do you want to be with your marketing? How well do you think things are going to work? Whether you're working with us or not, or whether you're trying to figure it out on your own. But we think 10 new clients a month is kind of the minimum, really, and should be something you should absolutely be able to do, assuming your systems are set up correctly. So let's say we want to get 10 new clients per month, and long term, we're going to assume that, and this is quite an aggressive assumption, we're going to assume that you lose 1 client per month, which is your estimated churn. So if you have a body of recurring clients, roughly speaking, you get a cancellation per month. I think with less than 100 clients, you shouldn't really be experiencing that. But again, we're trying to make this a prudent estimation. The 14-day challenge, which is the sales sequence that we teach, that's how we convert leads into sales. Again, we've got tons of content on that if you want to check that out and how that works. We're assuming that 5% of the leads you get, the opt-ins you get, will buy from you. Okay, so you get people enter their email address, they're interested in hearing more about what you've got to say. 5% of those people within a short-term time horizon will buy from you. So to make 1 sale, we need 20 leads, 20 opt-ins. And to achieve our total client target of 18, we need 360 leads. And if you want to go with this 10 clients per month run rate, you need 200 leads a month to get 10 clients a month. And over here, we've just added, this is not really relevant and this is not included in the download that you get, but I wanted to include it for a kind of some kind of ballpark figure, because we get asked about advertising a lot. We teach ads a lot in our program, and people ask us, like, how much does it cost? So this is a really like pessimistic view on it. If you were running ads and you weren't doing a very good job and you were getting a £5 cost per lead, which incidentally is very high, you would need, this is just telling you roughly speaking, what would you need to spend per month, right? So to get your 200 leads a month, you'd need to be spending 1,000 a month. Realistically, that should be more. So 500 a month would get you your 200 leads a month. And the nice thing about this is, because what you're adding into is a recurring model, you spend the £500, you acquire these 10 clients that join and work with you, and they stay for ideally months on end if you're good at what you do, if you're good at coaching. And so you're sort of making this investment to acquire this recurring income. That's what's so nice about this model and how we teach it, is that you don't always have to be running ads. You just need to run ads to fill your 14-day sequence, to generate the leads that you need, to generate the sales that you need. And then those clients stay with you, right? So your ad spend then becomes a function of how much more do you want to grow the business. But then if you did want to do this every single month and acquire 10 new clients every single month, you could spend £500 a month on ads to achieve that, which is quite a nice growth rate to run at. The final thing then is just, all right, if the goal is 18 clients, when across a 12-month time horizon, if these numbers just persisted, would I hit that, right? So in month 1, you'd have generated 14 clients. So that's assuming you start with 5, you generate 10, and one person leaves. And then in month 2, 23, month 3, 32, etc., etc. You can see it grows quite quickly. But basically, in 2 months, you would have 23 clients, a 2,300 recurring run rate, and enough cash to quit, assuming these are your expenses.
Cool. So let's do a little bit of sensitivity analysis. Let's assume that you're doing it on your own, you're struggling to get the ads working in the first couple of months. Your cost per lead is a bit higher, you're not acquiring as many clients per month. What does that do to your freedom timeline?
So, I mean, the first mistake there is not just trusting us and working with us and signing up for our program and meeting. No, I'm joking. So let's say you build your 14-day challenge, you have a go at it on your own, and it converts at, say, 2%. And let's assume just for now that your cost per lead stays the same. So as you can see, what that immediately does, and this is why the 14-day challenge is so important, it's why we focus on it as the first point of contact with everybody that we work with. You're going to need 50 leads to make a sale, which just basically means you need to spend more money per month. So probably what that's going to do is decrease the amount of clients you're going to get per month. So let's say, and these two aren't linked, by the way, they're separate calculations. So let's say that you only get 7 clients a month, or you get 5 clients a month with this process, then suddenly that bumps the time that you could move online full time to 4 months down the line, right? If your 14-day challenge doesn't convert as well, obviously you need more leads, there's more throughput required, it's just going to take you longer to get clients, right? So you're looking at, it bumps it basically every time this number decreases, then the amount of time is going to take you to generate the relevant income to move online full time is going to increase quite significantly, which is why the 14-day challenge conversion rate is so important. And it's why if you set that up such that it converts really, really well, you can really make progress a lot quicker than you probably expect.
Yeah, it's a really helpful tool as well, because if you've got something coming up, you've got a wedding or a big expense or something, you can factor that into your runway and figure out, okay, how much buffer will I have? Will I be able to put the cash aside to run ads long term? How can I improve my retention rate of clients? Like, if I'm hemorrhaging clients, what can I do in terms of my delivery to make sure that fewer people are leaving compared to ones joining? And then you can also look at, in a year's time, if I continue at this rate, what will my total client capacity be? And the delivery systems that we teach help you to deliver a program to 50 to 100 people as your kind of maximum capacity. Once it goes over 100, that's when you start needing to hire more coaches or change your business model to something that's slightly more passive. But that's all a great problem to have further down the line.
Yeah, so that's an interesting example, right? Like, so I think, well, 2 things this illustrates. One of them is, hopefully this makes you realize that doing this organically without ads would be extremely difficult, right? So if I said to you, you need 900 leads, probably that's a struggle, right? That could well be more than the number of Instagram followers you have. And doing that, generating 900 leads with organic methods is a very long-winded way of achieving this. With ads, it's £625 a month, right? If you're getting £250 a month, that's £2.50 a lead. It's far more stable. Obviously, the downside is it costs money, but if you have a system that is you spend £625 and make way more than that back, why would you not make that trade? It's the first thing. The second thing is, if we assume this is a little bit more aggressive, let's say your challenge converts really, really well and you're generating 20 clients a month, but your coaching systems are strained because you're trying to do everything one-to-one and 5 people leave a month or 8 people leave a month, you can see how this kind of translates through down the numbers, right? The two things that you can influence as a coach is how many people leave because of my coaching and the goal setting that I'm doing and the client management that I'm operating, and how many clients am I generating per month with my marketing, with my sales, with my advertising. You can really only influence those two numbers, and that's why it's important to look at marketing and lead gen, sales and delivery and systems and back end, because those two things combined is actually over a year, that's what dictates your revenue. It's not all just about marketing and sales. You've got to balance both sides of the equation.
Very much. So we've written all this out for you. It's in a web page that will just email you your results, and you can play around with the numbers. So the link for that is in the description below. Also, if you're looking at that and being like, okay, I get the concept, I get the expenses and potential client income, but how do I do it? How do I get more clients? Teach me the 14-day challenge model. Johnny actually covers it for free, the full thing. It's not this isn't like a hiding the secret method. Like, we literally lay out the full method. And then if you want to work with us and help you through it, then you can always get in touch with that. And the video for that is here.
If you want to skip past that, if you want to go through this process with us live, one-to-one, then there should be a link below as well to just schedule a time to speak to us. So one of the things we do with a client or a potential client who might be working with us is we go through this calculation with you. So we see, okay, with the numbers you're trying to hit, with the targets you've got, is that viable? Do we think we can help you? How does that work? And answer any questions. So if you want to just inquire about working with us, there'll be a link below to schedule a call with one of us as well.